Welcome to the Lakers Nightcap. I'm your host, Joe Soro. I am here to extend a little from the post game from tonight's game. Unfortunately, the Lakers were defeated handedly, actually, after maybe about the mid second quarter, 128 to 110. They were up in San Francisco tonight playing the Golden State Warriors. The game was pretty competitive for the first quarter and a half. I actually thought the game was going to be like that the entire way and was looking forward to maybe a dramatic ending. But unfortunately, the Lakers finally kind of hit a wall in the second quarter, and the Golden State Warriors took advantage of it and didn't really relinquish the momentum from then on. I had spoken on post game about a couple concerns I had. Nothing that hasn't been said before, but we're going to delve into a little bit more detail, especially with the post game comments by Darvin Ham. I had some not so nice comments about that, but I also wanted to talk about tomorrow's game and kind of the rest of the way. It's tonight just seems like a straight vodka night. So I got my Tito's, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour my little straight up well on ice drink. Didn't feel like any sugar tonight. So for those of you who are having a nightcap, salud. Oof. Nice and smooth. So what do we got tonight? Joe, what's your name say, Gerald, on the screen? Oh, yeah. Gerald's usually sitting in the captain's seat, so I usually have to get on here and fix that here. 1 second. There we go. Ox is back, baby. There you go. You happy now? Cool, bro. Good. We will beat the Spurs. I think they will. I'm just curious to see if LeBron is going to play tomorrow. And that's probably going to be the basis of my discussion tonight is I want to figure out what is the deal with LeBron. Let's say he comes back tomorrow. What is the deal with LeBron playing against teams that are massively inferior and not playing against the teams that might be a problem? So week and a half ago, he decided to play the Detroit game, but didn't play the Utah game. If he doesn't play, he didn't play tonight, and if he plays tomorrow night, I want to know what's going on with that. Why is he doing that? Why is he playing basketball against the easier teams? Does he know that he's going to have to put up more effort in those games? Is he more worried about looking bad? I think that's a question we need to talk about. So, Alan, stat padding is probably the easy answer. I don't think it's that. I think LeBron is pretty much done with stat padding. He's the all-time leading scorer. He's got over 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds. That part is done. He doesn't. I've said this before. He could score 50,000 points. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The all-time scoring list in the NBA was a prestigious stat. It's probably the number one stat in the NBA, but it's not like having the home run record. So LeBron is only judged by championships. NBA players are only judged by championships. And for an NBA player, there's a little bit more water held there because there's only 5 guys that can play at a time, and that one guy can make that big of a difference. So the pressure sometimes is unfair. The accolades, the accomplishments, they're great, but I'd say if in basketball, it's probably a little bit more warranted, if I had to say. But I want to talk about this. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why, and how you would ask LeBron this question. Would he get offended? Would he probably? I mean, he gets kind of butthurt in general, anyways, at anything. Sometimes he does get picked on, so I'm not going to say it's all on him. But what is it about sitting out the important games, the games where there's a challenge versus playing in the Detroit game? And if he does play tomorrow night, why did he decide to play tomorrow night? He could have played tonight if he plays tomorrow night. So I want to know what the answer is. That's a question for you guys as well. Why do you think LeBron does that? So one has said stat padding. I don't think it's that. I think I know what it is. I just think he doesn't want to look bad. And this comes back from, I remember years ago when he got dunked on in some kind of charity game or some kind of whatever. He wanted all the tapes to be confiscated because he got dunked on. So with that, if this guy's still sitting on that whatever tower he's on, worrying about looking bad, it just adds to the fact that there's so many bad decisions and so many bad mental games going on here that's not explaining, or that's completely explaining why the Lakers are in the predicament they are in right now. False narrative churches, blinders. He says that things are disingenuous. But they won last time with LeBron playing. 30 likes. Thanks, cool bro. That's a good question. How many games has he made? I don't think TNT cares. I think that the talent on TNT is the guys that actually call the games. I'm sorry, call the show, the Inside NBA. Well, Barkley, the only thing I've heard Barkley say is the leadership of Durant. Did he say something about? Did Barkley say something after the game tonight? I rarely watch the post game things anymore. They make it worse. What did he say, Darren? What did Barkley say about LeBron? Oh, Embiid that's a good example too, Frank. Embiid, how many games has Embiid sat against Denver? Well, I'm gonna have some popcorn, guys. Soak up that alcohol a little bit. I got to get up at 4 a.m. and go work out. Working all day tomorrow. It is Friday. That's where the money comes. So Barkley wasn't on TNT tonight. Where the hell was he? I think he didn't play because he couldn't be as effective against Golden State than Coast tomorrow. Okay, yeah, that's probably what it is, Dewey. That's exactly what it is. So if you're going to have that kind of mentality and you're supposed to be the leader of the team, and then you got the excuse machine that's supposed to be the coach, is it any reason why the Lakers are like this? I mean, seriously, come on. Guys, the writing's on the wall. Okay, they've been painting on that wall all year. They've been painting it all year. At what point are you going to come to the realization that both LeBron and Darvin Ham are snatches? Seriously. There's no other way to look at it. Jennifer Coolidge. You mean Stifler's mom? That's Stifler's mom, right? I don't see ads on YouTube because I got an ad killer. You know who did dunk on Shaq, Darren? Was Derek Coleman. Shaq's rookie year. My celebrity crush. That's a good one. What's the recent one right now? I don't know what it is about Jessica Chastain. Lately, she's been kind of catching my eye. I don't know. I think it might be the red hair. So Derek Coleman dunked over Shaq. And I think he got dunked on by somebody else, but that was the one that I vividly remember. And Derek Coleman used to always Derek Coleman was a stud before he kind of went off the rails. But it comes back again, Frank, you're right. We're going to have to talk about, when is LeBron going to stop this? Never. I'm not going to stop this. The narcissistic traits that guy carries is almost becoming even bigger as he gets older. Usually when you get this late stage in the career, a lot of times guys get humbled, they get mature, they kind of release a little bit from their old ego. I think LeBron is getting worse. If you're not playing in these games because you're worried about looking bad when your team is teetering on 500 all year, what the hell is the point of playing anymore? He should just retire. He should opt out and retire at this point if that's what he wants to do. If it's just about getting a paycheck or just again padding his stats, he's smart enough to understand that that's not going to matter. If it's about his legacy was cemented years ago. He could have been in the Hall of Fame after winning his first championship. Heck, he could have been in the Hall of Fame before he won his first championship. So what else? What else is there to do? Why not go out guns a-blazing? What are you not playing for? What are you not playing for? Seriously, what has he got to lose? What, he's going to tear a knee? Mess up his ankle? Like, what are they trying to do? They really think that if they get in, and it's going to be the play-in, by the way, folks, that they get in the play-in, that they're going to have a chance to make a run by just, oh, we're going to coast as much as we can to get there. Guys, these guys don't have the ability to turn around. They don't have enough talent on defense to play in a 7-game series against a chemistry-filled offensive juggernaut like a Denver team. If the Clippers kind of put it together at the right time in the playoffs, we know that that's suspect. But if they put it together, they're going to get whooped by the Clippers. Or if they face a determined Minnesota team, I think Oklahoma City is probably the best bet to play in the first round should they get out of the play-in. I think they're young enough to where the moment might be a little too big, but we don't know. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see, can they get there? And who's going to be in those top 4 spots? We don't know right now. Well, LeBron's not worse. I mean, he's aged. He's in his 21st season, but I think he's somewhat given up. I think he's given up. And hey, what's up, Marco? How you doing, bud? By the way, my name is Joe. I don't know if you went too fast on your typewriter, but my name is spelled with 1 R. Just a heads up. Yeah. Kobe got grumpy because he saw his body pretty much fall apart, and he played until that body said, "Kobe, all those shots, all that running, all that playing on your ankle, bad, right?" How many times did he turn his ankle? We're talking about high ankle sprains, and he was there the next day. That's why we love Kobe. That's why he became a legend. You know, he had, for anybody out in the normal world, he had phenomenal athleticism. He was a freak of nature and all that. But when you set him next to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, you could argue all those guys that were more talented physically, had better verticals, bigger hands, all that stuff. But what separated Kobe from all those other guys, other than Michael, is he had the determination to be a killer. And that's why we love him. And I'd rather have a killer for 20 years. Actually, I'd rather have a killer for 14 years at the top of his game than a guy that plays passive for 21. That's just me. Now, LeBron's only been a Laker for 6 years? He did do what we were hoping for him to do. Why I'm going through this vodka really quick. I'm going to have another one. But I don't know, guys. I need somebody to probably cheer me up. I don't drink to relieve stress, by the way. This is just for you guys. It's called the Nightcap, so I'm having a drink. But I don't drink after nights like this. What I do is I actually go lay down, probably pop a movie in, or maybe watch some kind of highlights from the other sports, and then pass out. That's usually how I do it. This type of stuff, this is usually when I party. Well, since you guys are here, we're somewhat of a party. You could say it's somewhat of a party. So I'm a social drinker. I like to drink with my friends. So you're all my friends here, new and old, new ones. Salud. If you haven't been here before, thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe. We are building and building and building, and we're building organically, just like how you should be eating your meat and your fruits. No, it's vodka, cool, bro. See, it's clear. And it's on ice. I don't know if you guys can see my logo. My logo's on there. Like the ice. I need to get that clear ice so you guys can see things. Can you guys see the S? I don't know if you guys can see the S. I guess I'll have to drink it and show you. I'll drink water with you. Sure. I'll take a shot of water for you. No, straight Hennessy's too hard, guys. Vodka's a little easier. Clear alcohol tends to sit better, at least for me. When you start drinking that cognac stuff, and that stuff starts to kind of make you feel like you're dying. Gin too. But gin, I gotta have a little drop of cherry in the gin. Too much like pine needle taste. But this popcorn's pretty good. Yet you get to deal with LeBron for a few months left. Does that cheer you up? Frank, look, we're caught. It's a paradox that we're in here, okay? Look where the Lakers were before LeBron came. They were on a straight line to nowhere, and nothing was changing. No one wanted to come to LA. No one wanted to do anything in LA. Nobody wanted to talk to anybody in LA. Nothing. They had to put up Tobey Maguire videos and signs on the wall to promote their guys. That's how terrible this ownership and management were in terms of bringing in talent. They had become a sideshow clown act, and not a good one either. The guy from Uncle Buck, remember the one from Uncle Buck? The guy that came to the door drunk? That's how they were promoting themselves. And then LeBron said, you know what? I'm the king, right? I'm the self-proclaimed king. No one ever called him a king. But he's like, you know what? I want to go do some stuff in Hollywood. I want to take my kids away from all this cold weather and muggy weather in Ohio. Let's go to Hollywood. Living in LA, living in Southern California when you're as rich as he is, that's like living in paradise. So it totally makes sense. So he put all those together, and then Magic kind of closed it. Again, you want to talk about clutch. You know, Magic is always clutch, right? When it comes to basketball, he's always clutch in those kind of moments. Just don't ask him to run a team or coach a team. But when Magic is being Magic, there's no one better. So he comes to LA and puts legitimacy back into LA. That is the Lakers, of course. And they have a rough first year because he was injured for the whole year. But the following year, they were able to get Anthony Davis. And they don't get Anthony Davis, I don't think, unless LeBron is here. So we have to thank him for that as well. He ended up winning a championship that year, which we are thankful for. But it's run its course at this point. It has run its course. There has to be a miracle this summer for any of this to change. I'm talking they need an elite player to come in. Who that is, I don't know yet. There's Trae Young. There's been Donovan Mitchell discussions, mainly Trae Young. And Trae Young would be a good complement to AD for the next 3 to 4 years, that's for sure. However, I'm not going to stick to any particular name. All I'm going to say is this year needs to pretty much end, and I think it's going to end at best probably in the first round if they make it that far. If I had to make a bet for my life, I'd say they probably get bounced in the play-in. They play Sacramento or Dallas and they're on, they're going to lose that game and they'll be done. They have one shot. They lose that first game and they're a 10 seed, they're done. They're done. We can get into the offseason and start talking about how they can rebuild this team because you still have Anthony Davis. I don't want to hear anymore how LeBron goes and Anthony Davis goes. I know my cohort, Stone Hansen, has said numerous times that he would trade Anthony Davis because you want to get top dollar for him. But I don't trust the Laker organization to do the right moves there. That's the issue there. I'd rather keep AD. At least we're going to be relevant with him there for about 3 or 4 years. Bring in somebody else. The Lakers have one thing they've always done, whether it's Genie there, whether it's Dr. Bus there, Jack Kent could even with getting Kareem. Anytime the Lakers want a star player, they seem to get him. So if you can keep AD, have LeBron, if he wants to play his last year, pick up his last contract, let him know this is it. This is all we're going to do. If he wants to get traded because of it, blah, 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 so what? Bottom line is we got to go after and get that third or second guy or first guy, whatever it is. You get him in here this summer, and then you start putting together a defensive role player setup and let that particular player, whoever it is, NAD be the pillars. That's the kind of team you want to build. And fire Darvin Ham this summer. Not next year, not during the year. Fire him this summer. And really, really, for once in your damn life, do a coherent search for a good coach. Someone that you can sit next to, whomever that player is, and if LeBron is there, NAD, and say, how can we make this work? Can this guy work? Does this guy have the right idea? Put him in the gym and see what he can put together. No more excuse machines. Darvin Ham is pathetic as a coach, and he's even worse outside the court. The most unleadership guy I've ever seen coach, at least for the Lakers. He wasn't as bad as Luke Walton and Byron Scott, at least. I never heard Luke Walton blame Anthony Davis losing his voice on not being able to do things during a game. That is the most pathetic thing I think I've ever heard a coach say, honestly. And I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen Bobby Knight throw a chair. I've seen John Calipari mouth off to people and do stupid stuff behind the scenes. Rick Pitino. I've seen a lot of these guys do that kind of stuff. This might have been the dumbest thing I've ever heard a coach say in a situation like this. Yeah, Kurt, Uncle Buck is, man, that, we're coming up on John Candy's 30th year since he has left us. And I still can't believe it. I mean, 30 years. We're talking, I was 16 at the time, or would have been 16. I'm going to be 46 next Friday. And man, losing that guy, they talk about Chris Farley, they talk about Tupac, they talk about Biggie. Look, man, I'm sorry, with all due respect to Biggie, Tupac, and Chris Farley. John Candy, losing John Candy, we lost something that we'll never know what we lost. That's kind of like Kobe Bryant. He's like the movie version of Kobe Bryant. This was a genuine guy. This is a guy that made differences in people's lives. We're talking about a guy who, there was a particular, I can't remember what movie it was. It might have been a movie, Armed and Dangerous. It was one of my favorites. It was with Eugene Levy. He's still rocking and rolling on Schitt's Creek. Very, very, very amazing actor. There was a guy that was losing his apartment, and he found out about it. And this is the story I heard. He was supposed to help him with the rent so that he could stay in his apartment. He ended up giving him money and a hug and putting money in his pocket, saying, go pay your rent. You're good. I'll take care of your salary here. You come back when you can, right? When you're settled. The guy ends up going back to his place, looking at the money that was in his pocket. It was $10,000. The guy only needed like $1,000, but he gave him $10,000. So that's one. The other is, there was a gentleman whose father was sick, and he needed to go see him because he was sick. I think his father was sick of cancer. And he not only paid for things for his medical stuff, but he also had him paid while he was gone as an actor. He wasn't a major role guy. He was this guy that he was, just kind of like a principal actor, and took care of everything. And he said, "Don't come back until you're ready." So yeah, we lost a good one there, guys. We'll never know. A lot of you guys probably weren't around when John Candy was alive, but salute to John Candy. We miss you still 30 years later. I have to mix in something good here, guys. I'm sorry. I've been talking so negative tonight, so I want to talk something positive. You can't get more positive than John Candy or an Uncle Buck and Armed and Dangerous and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean, now I'm getting the feeling I'm going to go watch that movie now after I'm done with the show. But yeah, so back to depression. What are the Lakers going to do tomorrow night? I guess it's going to depend on if LeBron comes. And then, of course, we find out that he's playing. We're going to be the first to find out. if LeBron is avoiding playing against competition. So, Gerald, we've started a conversation about, is LeBron missing the high quality games or the much needed games for the donkeys on purpose because he doesn't
Well,
want to look bad.
you touched on the clutch aspect, and it was ironic. I mentioned to you after you left that what was the hoodie he was wearing tonight during the game against Gold? Did you get a chance to see it?
I couldn't understand what was on his hat.
I missed it. It's like LN or something. I don't know. But don't I didn't catch that either, to be honest with you. But I do know he was wearing a clutch hoodie. So I was saying the irony in you talking about him being or having clutch issues and him wearing that clutch, I think was just, I had to go ahead and say that. But yeah, just the issues with LeBron as far as what his legacy is. It's going to be very complicated. With Jordan, it's a lot more cut and dry. With Magic, it's more cut and dry. When you talk about LeBron's legacy as an all-time great player, it's very complicated. And you're probably going to have to go into great detail. And basketball historians will probably be going back and forth on this for a century to come. Yeah. And I will say this, when it comes right down to it, Joe, it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. I know people were talking about that. There was, I think it was Sports Baby that said that he still thought LeBron is one of the top 10 players in the league. And I said, no, you can't. You don't get a top 10 performance from LeBron. I mean, Joe, let me ask you this. How many games this year has LeBron played like a top 10 player in the NBA this season? 20, 25?
I don't think that many.
See?
So let's talk about that now that you brought it up. Top 10 player of the year. So let's think top of my head. You got Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Giannis, Jokic, Shea, Anthony Davis.
Joel Embiid.
We already said Joe. I already said.
Oh, you said Joe. Okay.
Yeah.
You said Doncic.
Would you consider Durant in that group? Would you consider Donovan Mitchell?
Curry.
Tatum. I'm sorry, we forgot about Tatum.
I think Booker is at this point playing better, more consistently than Durant.
Would you say Kawhi Leonard's playing better than him too?
Kawhi is playing like one of the top 10 players. The Clippers
are De'Aaron Fox.
No.
What?
De'Aaron Fox is playing like Tyrese Maxey and De'Aaron Fox are playing like top 25 players, but not top 10 players.
Sabonis?
No, Vodka is not secretly from an alien planet. No, Sabonis is playing like a top 40 player. He is just outside of a as far as because of his defensive liability, I'd say a 25 to 35 player at this point.
I guess there's an argument for it, but
Jalen Brunson, that's a good point. He's playing right on the cusp of a top 10 player right now in the NBA, Joe.
Zach LaVine, that's funny. I don't know. It doesn't matter in the end. It's the issue with LeBron is what's going on here. This right here. The leadership on this team is Swiss cheese, just like LeBron's brain and Darvin Ham's brain. LeBron is so infatuated with himself, he doesn't even realize it. If he plays tomorrow, someone needs to ask him that question. I'm so tired of these asking it on TV. Someone ask him, why did you miss yesterday's game and then play tonight? Why did you
played all 14 minutes in the All-Star game? Why did you do that at all?
The All-Star game, there's an obligation, and this is something we can't sit here and argue about them scoring 400 points and then say, well, why were you playing? No. He's an All-Star. People voted for him to play.
Good point.
We expect them to play. We want to see the stars, don't we? Kids want to see the stars. You have an obligation. You are representing the NBA. You're supposed to promote the game.
I'll give you
Instead,
that.
you get a bunch of bitches whining about, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Well, you know what? I'm going to say it again. You got a problem, get a pay cut. You get paid $50 million to represent not just your team, yourself, the NBA. The NBA allows you to make that kind of money, and the people who voted for you to be there are paying your salary. You don't exist in the world of endorsements without those people who voted for you. They're the dummies. I'm the dummy. You're the dummy that are watching and paying attention to this garbage. No one says it. No one talks about it. The only one that screams is Stephen A. Smith. And that guy's ran out his screams. That's why I don't like to rant every show, because it loses its luster. Bret Hart, you're going to appreciate this. Bret Hart used to say when he didn't always want to use the sharpshooter in every match, it cheapened it. He wanted to use it when it mattered.
So
right?
the same. Although he did have his go-to moves every single match. You're right. The sharpshooter is not something he used every single match. He wanted to make it, obviously like it was different, but every single pro wrestler has their go-to moves that they go to every single time. With Flair, I know Ric Flair will always be called the consummate professional, greatest of all time, and all that to many people. But you're right, Joe. He did have his number of things that you could literally count on. He would always do the Flair flop. He'd always do the thing from the top rope where he gets caught up there at the top rope and he gets slammed over. He always does certain things because it's reflex. It's like normal for them to do so. But when an artist, when a wrestler, when anything, and when you change it up and can still make it look good, it makes things so much more entertaining to watch, Joe. But I wanted to ask you as well, don't forget your Dodgers because they're back in spring training. They played the Padres.
I watched a little bit of the game tonight, or today, I should say, and they were up 8-0 after the first inning. Cronenworth was the only run that the Padres had. Most of the guys that were hitting were guys that were spring training guys. It wasn't really the main guys. But Gavin Stone did show some good stuff here tonight, or I should say today. The Dodgers have the table set to own this season. They have enough money to acquire a impact player during the trade deadline in space. So the Dodgers have everything put together here at this point. They're waiting on Buehler to come back. They're obviously going to be waiting for Kershaw. I'm not really even factoring them in. Even Dustin May and Gosselin are probably not going to. I mean, may be something. I don't know. I'm hearing good things, but I don't know. Gosselin is gone, but then you got Yamamoto and Stone and Bobby. They're gonna. If you've got, let's say, 3 solid starters, and then you have the Kershaws and you have the Buehlers and you have the Mays come in at the end and really give you some consistent innings, and they don't get hurt, their pitching is going to be good, and I know their hitting is going to be awesome. So it's going to only depend on now, is Dave Roberts going to continue to Darvin Ham now
Knew you would get
pitching
to
staff when it matters. I trust Dave Roberts like I trust walking into the jungle. That's how much I trust Dave Roberts. I trust Darvin Ham right now walking on a ledge that's 100 stories high. That's how much I trust those guys. And it's really sad that we have to continue to be in this negative scope of everything. It really is. It's so tiring to watch inadequate decisions, inadequate coaching, inadequate execution at every turn. At what point will this finally burn somebody? Because I can't sit around and complain for the rest of my life. I don't complain except when I'm on this show. I don't complain. Maybe on a few things here and there, but that's it. Anytime something comes up in the real world, I figure out a solution or I work around it. The complaining is maybe every now and then you run into somebody who's got an issue with some political thing or some kind of local thing or some kind of car thing. And you kind of jibber jabber with it and that's it. But I feel like every time I'm on this show, I'm drinking myself to sleep. I don't know, you tell me. What do you think, Gene?
It gets frustrating because you always talk about as far as the NBA is concerned, you've got the bad teams and you've got the really good teams, and then you've got that stuck in the middle purgatory. And, newsflash to everyone out there, even the most optimistic, like Isabel, is, she even takes Laker Tom's positivity and turns it up even higher from what I've seen. And God bless her for it. But we have reached that state, Joe. We're in purgatory. We're squarely in it, where we don't have a chance of winning, and we unfortunately have too much talent from tanking. So we are stuck right there in the plan where you don't want to be stuck, because you really can't move, improve your team, and you never know. We don't even have a first round draft pick, and if New Orleans picks up the pick this year, so we won't even have a first round draft pick. Our first draft pick right now, if New Orleans picks up the draft pick, is in the late 50s. So we're pretty much SOL unless they decide to.
I don't think they're going to pick it up. This is a pretty weak draft. I'm going to say they'll probably pick it up next year.
Probably next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
gamble on the Lakers.
Yeah, but the question is, what will will the Lakers repeat their draft like they did last year? That really hurt the Lakers. It really did. I know it's just one player, but for players that were picked immediately after the 17 to be that effective for their current teams is a punch to the face. Now, we can also put it to the fact that maybe these guys are coached better and they're in a better situation, but I don't think that's the case. Talent is talent. Talent will show itself, and there's enough stars on the team with LeBron and AD where those guys should flourish, because a lot of the attention wouldn't be on them, and if they have the talent to be able to do their thing. But that's a discussion I think we could probably talk about again tomorrow, because we're going to run out of time talking about everything that's bad, which is a lot of things. It's the draft, it's the summer, it's the acquisitions, it's guys that aren't available, it's Darvin Ham's idiocy, it's LeBron's narcissism. It's so many things.
Well, that's why I say it's an organizational issue, because there's flaws in so many aspects of what we've done from top to bottom.
Yes, and I was going to say this on the post game, but I kind of decided to save it for the show tonight, because I thought we can go into it a little bit more, because we have a little more time now than we did on post game. But there's certain lingo that I've noticed. I've even seen some old clips of Rob Pelinka the last few years talking about certain things, and if you notice, Rob Pelinka always has to mention Genie. Oh, well, we talked to Genie and this and that, and we did this. I don't remember Jerry West or even Mitch Kupchak or any of these, any legit AGM ever to say, well, we got to check and see what Dr. Buss is saying, and we got to go check and see what this. It's almost like he's her lackey.
No comment, Joe, because I agree with you.
And then I'm sitting there going, this is Kobe's guy? Kind of puzzled by that. This is Kobe's guy? This is the guy that was the godfather to his kid? Why? Is it because he kissed his ass his whole life? Like, what was the deal? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. This is not a killer, man. This is a kind of like what Magic said when he left, right?
Yep.
I'm just saying, that whole passive aggressive thing, right? I would have understood if he was LeBron's agent, LeBron's godfather to his kids. But Kobe Bryant, a killer, having this kind of guy around him that's this way, I don't know. It's really confusing to me. Really confusing to me. It's leadership in terms of organization, just the leadership overall from top to bottom is just so weak, so pathetic. They're living off the past and they're living off like, hey, we're just are they living off the 2020 title? Are they looking at everybody going, you guys are greedy. We just won a title like 4 years ago and you want more and you want more. Is that what it is? Are we that ungrateful? Are we that delusional? Maybe that's what it is.
Cool, bro. Just interrupt real quick.
Cool, bro. You need to go to bed.
Dune Part 2 was entirely shot by Denis Villeneuve with on IMAX cameras. The best and most intended way is to see it on IMAX. I actually could only get tickets here in Vegas for the XD version, but I plan to see when a spot opens up for the IMAX version. I'm going to go ahead and rewatch it on IMAX come next weekend.
So was Dune, the new Dune, better than the old Dune?
Substantially. Dune
Really?
Part 1, in my opinion, again, it depends on who you talk to. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. I thought it was the best movie I saw of 2021. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Again, pacing issues. Some people thought it, yes, too slow. Some people thought it was too explanatory. Some people thought it was too much world building. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Dune Part 2, from all the reviews, are fantastic. People are saying that the special effects are sensational. It's action-packed. It is 2.5 hours, but it is full of a lot of goodness out there. So yeah, it's being compared to Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and The Empire Strikes Back, to give you an idea.
Wow.
And yes, Sting is Elvis Butler, greater than Elvis Butler. I will kill him. I will kill him. Kurt Affair. Yeah, I love the only really good part of that original Dune by David Lynch was the hamminess of Sting. And I thought it was just so over the top cheesiness, but it was just so funny. Kyle MacLachlan's good. Patrick Stewart's okay. But yeah, Sting was just so over the top funny in that movie, Joe.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the next Dune. I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
I highly recommend Dune Part 1, and Dune Part 2 has gotten amazing reviews, absolutely amazing reviews. So I've already got my tickets for it. Can't wait to see it.
Good deal. What was the question that I saw? I went up real quick.
I'm not buying those popcorn buckets unless I can resell them for a lot of money. Sometimes you can. The Barbie one goes for big bucks.
Are we going to be back tomorrow night all happy and crazy and optimistic again if they win?
I don't think you should be, because it's over a team that, one of the worst teams in the league, Joe, that had the same kind of trip because they were in Sacramento. Yeah, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't, even if they win by 30 tomorrow night, they should not we shouldn't take anything from it.
When do we take something from this thing? Is it ever going to happen this year?
They have to go on a run. They have to go on another consistent run. They have to win another. Did you not say during the program tonight that the Lakers have an absolutely brutal schedule in the coming days after San Antonio?
It is. It's just the fact that they're at home and they're not going to be traveling very far.
Well, they're not a great home team.
So there's San Antonio tomorrow, which should be a win. But then they are prime time on Sunday against Phoenix, which is going to be on ABC. So in terms of that, there's a very good chance that I'll have Lakers Nightcap earlier than 11 o'clock on Sunday. So keep your eyes on that. Again, for those of you who just got here, please like and subscribe. There's going to be changes, subtle changes with the Lakers Nightcap as the season goes on. And it's going to be a little bit easier for some of the. I know some of you all are kind of Nighthawks like I am and Gerald.
The Phoenix game is at Phoenix.
Yeah, it's at Phoenix, and it's at 12:30 Pacific time. And then, of course, they're going to have a couple days off where they'll play the Clippers on ESPN at 7 p.m. Almost every game after Sunday will be will be a an evening game for, geez, what would be all the way through March 24th. I
Yeah.
think there's only a couple games where they're at 5:30, and then when they go to Milwaukee on the 26th, they'll get back to kind of the early games like 4:30.
Late in March.
Yeah,
Late in March when they
the
get
Lakers have a brutal schedule. There is a small possibility that if there is lingering issues with LeBron's ankle and he can't play consistently, let's say it is the injury, there's a very good chance the Lakers could hit a wall here and lose royally, and that's going to be a very sad situation if that's the case.
Well, if in late March, early April, Joe, the Lakers are anywhere near a spot where they can move up, they do have the Nets, the Raptors, and Wizards. Now it is on the road, back to back to back for their games. Those games they could take advantage of. The Cavaliers may be resting players when they host them on the 6th of April. Same thing with the Timberwolves, who maybe already have clinched and locked. You're just assuming that both those teams have locked up playoff spots already. Then you get to the Warriors and Grizzlies. So if it's again like a repeat of last year where the Lakers have to be in that have to win mode late in the season and they're playing LeBron and AD again every single game, some of these teams may not field out their best players, Joe, and we could get some easy wins if the Lakers are still in contention on the back end, the very back end of the season.
They are 4 games in the loss column ahead of the Utah Jazz. It's very, very likely that they're probably not going to miss out on the play-in, but it's highly likely that they're going to be the 10th team when it's all said and done. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel good if that's the case. I don't feel any confidence when it comes to this team. This team has been all over the map. And when the Lakers can't give you that, oh, well, LeBron and AD have had stretches where they've been hurt. No, they haven't been hurt. They've been healthy for the most part. That's what's frustrating, is that we took a season where LeBron and AD are relatively healthy and we've pretty much thrown it in the trash, Joe.
But because there's a mental block, right? There's a mental block with this leadership. And then you have Darvin Ham's inadequacies and excuse-filled BS with injuries and all that stuff. What changes at the end of the year? Are they going to have a renaissance in the playoffs because it matters? Are they going to be able to beat Sacramento or Denver if it is, let's say, Dallas, Sacramento, Warriors, and the Lakers in those play-in games?
I think all these teams are, when you talk about, for me, teams 5 through 10, Joe, I think all of these teams, you can throw a blanket over them. I think it's based up on matchups, depending on which matchup you're going to get. If you got any of these teams against each other in a series, whether it's a short series or a longer one, I think, there is no definitive winner in number 5 through 10, because I just think that's how close I believe they are talent wise. It's when you play the Denvers or the Clippers. We all hope that the Clippers are going to clip like the normal, but Minnesota, Oklahoma City, I just don't see the same pathway that the Lakers had last time, because the Lakers found themselves after they came out of the play-in against Minnesota, and they played a team in Memphis that was severely injured along the front line and absolutely destroyed them. And then Golden State, we ended their dynasty last year because we were just too damn big. I don't think we're going to be able to find that same kind of success, especially if these teams have their health come playoff time.
So based off their current winning percentage, if you factor in they stay in the same percentage on the road and the same percentage at home, they're going to finish 42-40. That's what it says. They've been playing consistently inconsistent all year, right?
That's exactly where they'll end up. 42-40, 41.
There's no reason for us to veer off that. So we're saying right now that the Lakers are going to probably go 12-13 the rest of the way, based off their current home and away percentages. Maybe they win one more game in that, because I kind of went down a little bit because I couldn't go above what was there.
I'd say 15 to me as a likely number. 15 wins is a likely number.
So 15 wins, and the 15 wins out of the next 25.
Yeah.
So 15 means they win 44 games. Okay, I could probably see that. It's the Lakers are going to make the play-in based unless they completely collapse. It has to be a collapse. 4 games above the last team that's out of the playoffs, which is Utah.
Yeah, Utah's gone. They're done, Joe. These are the 10 teams you've got right now.
Okay, so the Lakers are going to be fighting essentially either the 9 or the 10 if the Golden State Warriors continue to play the way they're playing.
Unless the Kings fall off the map, yeah, I don't see it happen.
Is there that much of a difference? I mean, if they're the 9 seed, they're playing Golden State at home, right?
I believe so. Does it work 7-10 or does it work 7-10?
I don't think it works that way. I thought that's what it was last year, but it turned out to be 7-8 and 9 and 10.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So 7 and 8 play. Whoever wins that game goes. They're officially the 7th seed. Then that 8th seed plays the winner of the 9 and 10, and then whoever wins that gets the 8th seed.
Yeah. It's complicated. They make it more complicated than I think it has to be, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Why not? Gerald asked Joe if he's seen the bad news. No, I haven't seen it. I'm going to see the Obi-Wan thing at some point here. The Obi-Wan show. I heard it was terrible, but I want to see some of the Darth Vader stuff.
It wasn't great. I'll put that much. It wasn't as bad as a Book of Boba Fett, but yeah, it was. Yeah.
Did they hire stupid actors that don't know how to act? Is that why?
I just think just the way that it all leads up to 2 major Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi battles, you can say. But since you already know the outcome of these battles, because they obviously face each other. It takes place before Star Wars. So you obviously know what the outcome is going to be for both those battles. Just the way they set up was not very good, and not very entertaining. And
why do you think they did that? Who decided to?
Well, it's okay. Obviously they set it up to we're going to have some cool lightsaber battles and ultimate battles between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's got to lead up to that in the series. Well, you already know what's going to go down as far as the ultimate ending for Obi-Wan with Darth Vader. I just would have thought it would have been better if they had another individual to play off of outside of Darth Vader in that series. Because again, it just, no matter what they do to each other in that series, in those 2 climactic battles, it's like you already know you already know that they're just going to leave each other alive to save for another day.
Ewan McGregor didn't like the show either, did he?
I don't think so. I don't think they're renewing.
Why the hell did they do the show then? I know them. Does he really need the money that bad to be doing this? Is that they pay him that much money?
Must have, but they also want it. Disney Plus. It's a streaming. I know your back comes back to your streaming, man. They need content for streaming, and they were churning out Marvel and Star Wars like crazy instead of trying to create interesting properties fresh or utilize their millions of IP in a much better fashion.
Why do you think that is? Why are they struggling making new content?
It's lazy. It's lazy.
It's lazy, and also they don't. I don't know how many times I have to explain this. This is not a Starbucks. This is not Home Depot. You can't just hire off of, let's make sure everybody has a chance. This is a service business. Biggest service business you can have. You have to have talent. And sometimes talent isn't going to look the way you want it to look. That's a major problem. I don't know when they're going to solve this problem, but they're going to need to solve it quick. I don't know if it matters. I mean, maybe it's a downside of the entertainment business a little bit. That's happened in the past. Maybe it'll come back up, but I don't know. I'm going to be curious to see how this changes. But again, for those of you who came in late here, Lakers lost tonight, 128 to 110. Yes, I do agree, Bloodhound. Netflix is a pile of trash, by the way. The only reason why I have it is because I get it free with T-Mobile. And of course, even if I didn't have T-Mobile, I would use my friends anyways. But the yeah, I've gone through Netflix. I've gone through Netflix, so I'm not worried about that. I've gone through Netflix for several years and just said, "What is this thing? What is the point of this? How the hell did they make any money doing this?" The Unsolved Mysteries shows were good, but anything else, do I really need Netflix? I can get this kind of stuff anywhere. Why do I need to go pay money for something that I got to go scroll through? I don't know. I don't get it. There needs to be something new. That might the way the movies come out. Maybe need a new way of getting out. What do you think? You think the theaters can still hold water?
We will find out with Doom Part 2. I think Doom Part 2 is set up for a massive opening. It's gotten, like I said, huge reviews. It's gotten a lot of buzz. I think the smartest thing the movie industry did, or Warner Brothers did, was take it off its, because it was ready to go in August, but the strike, they needed content for earlier part of next year, which is now. So they took it off the August opening schedule and they put it here. I think that was the smartest move Warner Brothers has made in a long time. And I think they're going to be rewarded for it with a really good opening. And people are finally going to be excited to go back to the movies in early March. You'll see it. I really think so.
You really think this is going to be that movie that, like an Oppenheimer and Barbie in the theater?
I don't know if it'll reach $1 billion. I hope it does. I mean, the first one made $400 million worldwide during the middle of the pandemic. But it's, like I said, it's received praise galore since then. So. I think people are buying into the hype. I think that the tremendous reviews that came out yesterday for it from all over, I think it's just perpetuating the hype. And you know how that is. We've seen it all the time. When we see something like this, buying the hype. When Barbie started getting those good reviews before it came out, that bought into hype. And Oppenheimer, same thing. It really bought into the hype of that Barbenheimer, you got to go see both type thing. So I think that's what we're seeing, that this could be the first event movie. Deadpool could be the second. Everything else is like a wild card, whether or not it's going to succeed or fail. But I think Dune Part 2 and Deadpool are the two definite hit movies for this year.
Okay. I'll keep my eye out. I got to watch the first one before I decide. I haven't been to the theater, and I think the last time I was at the theater was the last Spider-Man. It's crazy how different things have gotten in the movie thing. I used to go to the movies probably there was a time where I'd go every month, at least once. Summertime, shoot, 3 times a month. Like, what happened? Where did they botch this? Is it really all streaming, or is it just the content is bad?
It's a little bit of both.
Because streaming, I always knew streaming was trash. I hate streaming. How do you make any money streaming stuff if you're already paying $10 a month for something? How do you justify $120 to $200 million movie, and then you got to do another $100 to $200 million worth of marketing? How do you make that money up? And then when you do put it in theaters, you got to split that money after 2 or 3 weeks. I guess it's just a write-off. Doesn't Warner Brothers isn't Warner Brothers like $40 billion in debt?
Yeah, I mean, they're all these streaming services. Netflix is finally making some profits after years of being underwater, Joe, from all the content they were putting out there. But at 260 million people, see, that's what you need. You need a base of subscribers so massive that it allows you to earn that type of money. With Amazon Prime, they're also over 200 million, but they're not primarily dealing with the video aspect. You know why Amazon Prime makes a profit? Amazon Prime makes a profit from you buying off of Amazon Prime. That's where they make their money. Netflix is now finally making a profit because they have just a sheer amount of people worldwide buying the subscription. You don't have that with Disney Plus. Disney Plus makes I think it has 100 million less subscribers at least than with Netflix. Warner Brothers is not even on the radar. Paramount Plus, Peacock, those guys aren't even on the radar compared to Netflix.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna probably go get a Netflix movie and get ready to fall asleep so I can get up in the morning and work out because I'm gonna be on the road pretty much all
Yes.
morning.
Yes, sports baby. WWE did sign the deal as of January 2025. Raw, Monday Night Raw will be on Netflix. So
God, wrestling sucks. Anyways, Lakers lost tonight, 128-110. Thank you all for joining us for the Lakers nightcap. I'm feeling a little bit of a buzz. Nothing crazy. That's why I drank vodka straight.
and by
I
the
don't
way,
think
cool
popcorn is
bro,
so good.
Andor's the best Star Wars since the original trilogy.
I'll check them all out. There's going to be times where I can kind of get on the phone and probably watch them when I'm on long trips. But again, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. For those of you who are the regulars, thank you. For those who have just showed up, who are here, who aren't commenting, please like and subscribe. Gerald, thanks for coming by and saying hello like you usually do. And we'll be back tomorrow night, probably the same time. Maybe an hour earlier. I'll figure that out tomorrow.
Well,
We'll
it's a
let you know.
7:30 game though.
I'll probably stick to 11, I guess. But
Yeah.
I will be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow night, obviously for playback, for the post game, and then of course the Lakers nightcap. It's a little easier to have drinks on a Friday because everybody schleps around on the weekends, right? I can party anytime, but everyone else doesn't do anything during the week usually. All you
How does
95ers.
Cool Bro get the entire weekend off? He's already got the weekend off.
He's 15 years old, man. You think I did anything when I was
That
15?
school district. That school district. What is that school district, man? Oh my
It's
God.
a school district of everybody passes, so everybody gets an award. That's what it is.
I guess so. My God.
On that note, thank you again for being here. I will see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, any comments, please email us at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. We will soon be getting Lakers Fast Break
It's ski week.
Yeah, ski week, yeah. I need to go skiing, by the way. I just started golfing again.
I would love to ski before I die, man. I have
You
not
ever
yet.
ski?
I've never skied.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we have Mount Charleston,
It's
near
really
us.
hard the first time, though, man. You're going to be
I know.
falling.
I think that's why I think that's why. I mean, I've ice skated and fallen, but I used to ice skate when I was a kid a lot.
Dude,
but yeah,
the first day I skied, I fell. It was the greatest workout I ever had, though.
okay.
Seriously, one of the greatest workouts I've ever had. It was freezing that day, and I was sweating. I was falling down so much. I finally took some lessons and figured out the pizza thing, like a little kid. I was 14 at the time.
Yeah, angled your skis.
Yeah, angle the skis, and then finally, after about 4 or 5 hours, I finally started getting used to it, and then the rest is history. But
yeah, she's just Taylor Swift, just another 300,000 tickets, just like
good
that.
for her. Good for her. Keep rocking and rolling. And until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Again, anything you guys need, anything you want. I'm also on Twitter, Joe Soro LFB. And then, of course, you guys got the email. Please let us know if you need anything, if there's any requests for anything. We're going to start putting the production value up a little bit more. We'll probably put some prizes and things like that together, and then you guys can kind of enjoy that part of the show. I think it's only inevitable that we're going to get to that point. Have a great night, and until next time, I'll see you next time.
Watch Andor and Doom Part 2.